Hello guys, this is Real World Audio and we are going to talk about the center channel, which is Kintaro. Poor Kintaro, I'm not letting him sleep much. Uh, and the center channel is a very finicky, very tricky thing, especially because why is it needed? In my previous video, I mentioned that when you have a real movie theater, center channel is needed because if you're sitting first rows and you are not at the dead center, or even if you're at the dead center but the speakers are directional, they have a strong directivity, then you need a center channel to give you a more information that to for your brain to recreate what's happening in 3D. However, in your room, if you have a living room or a bedroom, um, there it's much smaller. The two speakers are maybe like 2 to 3 meters away from each other, like 6 feet to 10 feet. That's like an average setup for what we are listening at home. Some people, when they watch movies with their home theater systems, even they have like a 15 screen, and then they have two speakers on the sides, and then they're maybe like not even 2 meters away. They're maybe like 5 feet away, even closer than that. And why on earth would you need a center channel for that? It's like total BS. However, there's a real need for that, and that need is because of something extremely sinister. It's because when movies are made and produced and they are brought to you, to a lot of those movies, not all of them, but as now we are writing 2022, it happens to more and more of those movies. They are playing a nasty trick on all of us. Is we have left channel, right channel, and one of the channels is has information with correct acoustic phase, correct polarity, and the other channel they flip the polarity of the recorded material so that the acoustic polarity is flipped on one channel. And what that does, it does two things. One of them, it creates an artificial illusion as if our soundstage is wider. That's number one. I think that's why they do it. One thing is because it sounds much more showy. And they don't just do this to movies. Unfortunately, they do this to a lot of sound recordings as well. A lot of music is when they flip one channel up so that the sound stage expands, but at the price of the center image, the center material disappears. It's gone. And what you notice is that you cannot find the perfect sweet spot anymore. And if you just move a little bit in your chair, the image and the sound drastically changes. And what's going on? And what the movie industry is telling you is that what's going on, you need a center channel. And then you put a center channel. Oh, now I have center sound. I can hear it because now the center channel is giving you the information in a single polarity, in its own phase, and the ear can make sense of that. And when you have the left channel and the right channel, then when one is flipped over, then it just totally messes up the sound. So basically what's happening, if one polarity is flipped over, it's like half of the sound sounds as if when the if you, for example, when you're listening to vocals, if it's in correct polarity, it's the person breathing out while he's singing. And now imagine we record it with two microphones. And now if we flip one to the opposite phase, then the opposite phase is when we, instead of breathing out while we are talking, we are we are like taking the breath in. I can't even talk like that, like, oh, I'm breathing, blah, 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 kind of like that. Of course, now it made like really, I made really exaggerated sounds, but and that's because my vocal cords and my system is not equipped to talking while I'm sucking air in. And basically that's what flipping the polarity is. So when the sound pressure wave starts, it doesn't start hitting you and then coming back, but it withdraws and then comes forward. And what it does is that when you have a singer who is in the center, and from one channel you get the sound coming towards you, and from the other channel the sound recedes. And at the very center they cancel out each other. And what you are hearing is that you are hearing a singer on one side and another singer at the other side, and there's no one in the center. But it's the same person. And that's how you can catch that someone is screwing with you, is that when there's a single person uh, dialogue or singing and it's coming from the center of the screen, and you can hear it from both left and right. And if you move your head around to left and right, you can hear it more audibly. It becomes more intelligible. On one side, it's much more intelligible and solid. On the other side, it becomes hollow, but it still sounds like one person talking. You are here, another person talking. Center, its intelligibility is lost. You need a center channel, and that to reproduce it. However, there's a much better way to fix this issue than adding the center channel, because the center channel helps it to a certain degree that before we had a phase cancellation at the center. That's why you can't hear the dialogue, because the voices are cancelled out at the sweet spot. And when you add an extra center channel, you are adding that information again, that portion of it that doesn't get cancelled out, because this left channel cancels out right, so nothing is happening. I add the center channel, so now I can hear the center channel in the center. But this is just totally messed up. And what you can do, which is a much better way to listen to home theater, is that we had this reversed polarity for one speaker, flip the polarity for that channel, and now you have a perfect three-dimensional space. The schizophrenic voices get snapped into space, and it opens up to you. It becomes three-dimensional, because when you add the center channel, yes, voices become audible, you have intelligibility for the action in the movies or maybe music, but you lose the authentic 3D image, 3D space. And if you just flip the loudspeaker back to correct polarity, it's corrected. Now, the problem is that whenever you buy commercial stuff, none of that is equipped to do the flipping. So what you can do for yourself, either you go about and flip the positive and negative terminals on your loudspeaker connector, just on one side, but that's kind of messy. And if you do that every day, you're going to mess up your connectors, you mess up your cables, or maybe you can install a phase switch to switch the polarity on your speakers. What I do with all of my amplifiers, I put a phase switch, a polarity switch, so it changes the electric polarity of the signal, which results in changing of the acoustic phase. And if you do like that, and you would say like, how would I know then which is correct? Very easy. Just listen to it, and if at the center it doesn't sound right, it sounds schizophrenic, or for movies, or I don't understand the speech. Number one thing you can get that there's a phase fuck up in the movies. Sorry, there was a boop bleep supposed to come there. Unfortunately, I can't express it in any other way. There might be some good intention behind it of flipping the phase, but guys, that's just an effed up practice. It should be abolished. And the only way that practice is thriving is because that's the number one driving force to sell you a third channel, to sell you like a gazillion number of extra speakers, to give back that lost image that messing up takes away from the sound. And you can notice that it's happening, that you don't understand. They're saying something in the movies, but I can't understand it. What did it? They're just mumbling. It's just mambo. You don't get it. flip it up. Oh, okay, now it's like people talking. And if you have the phase switch on your amplifiers or loudspeakers, doesn't matter, just have it somewhere, and be able to not just like flip it the absolute phase for the system, but be able to flip it independently for left and right channel, because especially for movies now, I'm noticing that about 80% of the movies I have been watching and binge watching on Netflix for the past couple months, almost all of them have one phase flipped compared to the other. And it's not even constant that they constantly flip the left. Sometimes they flip the right. And sometimes they flip both. It's just, you have to toy around. If it's not in correct polarity, you'll have problems understanding what they are talking. And the solution is not to install a center channel. It will help with intelligibility a little bit, but you will miss out so much on the actual content that's recorded in those movies. The answer is to install a polarity switch, and then you don't need to be a golden ear. Just listen to it. If you don't understand the lyrics, you don't understand what the people are saying, just start messing up with the phase. Flip on out, flip the other out, flip both out, and experiment with it. And after a month or so, you will become really used to it. And it's probably one of the most powerful tools you will ever get for stereo, and at both stereo and for movies especially. I would say if you are an audiophile listening to movies, this is your number one must for any sound system, to be able to switch the phase of the channels independently. If you don't have that, you are missing out 90% of the ambient and space information from your system. And if you put in like extra speakers, they cannot fix something that has been effed up. You need to unfix that first. And then if you add more speakers, you can experiment with that. But if you don't fix the number one issue, you will never get the full potential of what is recorded, what you are getting. So thank you guys for listening to my rants. It was so enjoyable that Kintaro is now so asleep that he is like totally asleep. Let's grab him. Kintaro, dear Kintaro, it's your appearance. Look at that. He is just so loud. Nelly was telling me like, yeah, no, I just watched a few of your videos. I can't imagine anyone listening to them. Just how can anyone listen to such boring stuff? Thank you guys for just, hanging out and just listening to all of this crap or boring stuff that I have to say. Have an awesome day. Please like, subscribe, and just play around with this phase thing. If you don't know how to flip the polarity on speakers, then just don't do it. I don't want anyone to cause any damage to your system. But if you know what I was talking about, and then you are comfortable, very comfortable with this stuff, then when you are watching movies, please do give it a try. Especially in those cases when you are noticing that, okay, there's a problem with intelligibility. If I switch off the center channel, there's no center image. That's the dead giveaway that one channel was flipped up. And then you flip it back, oh my god, like all the three-dimensional is so much better. And then you can switch back the center channel if you want to. Probably it will not help. Depending on your system, it might. If your loudspeakers are really narrow dispersion, then adding a center channel will help. But if, yeah, just play around if you can. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.